Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Houston, this is the International Space Station. We are ready for the event.
Good day, LA. This is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Station, this is Good Day, LA. How do you hear me?
Good day, LA, and welcome to the International Space Station. We have you loud and clear.
This is so wonderful to talk to you both. We are so excited and so thrilled to talk to two of our most honored Californians, Kate, Victor. First of all, we are so thrilled to see you. Kate, tell me, what are you most excited about learning and discovering during your time there on the space station?
Oh, it's wonderful to talk to you guys, and it's been such an incredible mission scientifically. One of the things we're working on right now is actually some nematodes. They're worms that either have the muscular dystrophy gene or don't. And we're looking at how their mechanosensing and their neurosensing changes during spaceflight with microscopy. It's been fascinating. We can see it on the high-definition microscope up here.
Wow. Kate, of course, is a microbiologist, so this is a fascinating set of research and investigations that you were doing. Victor, when we look at your training, years and years of research, preparation, all that has gone into getting you both to the space station, was there anything still that surprised you about living aboard the International Space Station?
Yes, great question. You know, there's a lot of different aspects that I could talk about, but the one thing that really stood out when I first got here was how much concentration everything took. Some of the things we take for granted on the ground, just being able to set something down and then come back and find it in that place, doesn't work up here. And so everything took an immense amount of concentration and attention.
You know, this is modified living for both of you. We know you spend hours coordinating experiments, doing spacewalks. But in your downtime, Kate, how different is downtime on the space station than it is here on Earth?
In some ways, it's very different, and in some ways, it's much like a Saturday on Earth. Ike and I were just talking about books that we plan to read this weekend coming up, and you know, we do normal things as a crew. We watch movies together, but we also have the option to do things on the weekend, like watch the planet go by, and we can get lost in the cupola. I have spent an orbit is 90 minutes, and I've spent an entire orbit around the planet where you start from one place and it's 45 minutes of light and then 45 minutes of dark, and I don't even know that 90 minutes has gone by because it's just so fascinating and beautiful to watch out the window.
Wow. Fascinating view that you get, and the fact that time sort of stands still. We know that NASA's already well into the Artemis project, of which both of you are a part of that program, the first woman and next man back to the surface of the moon. Talk about the significance and how excited you are to be included in that program at this point, Victor.
Well, you know, it is a true honor to be a part of the Artemis team, and I'm excited about NASA's efforts to get us back to the moon sustainably so that we can stay there and do research in lunar orbit, as well as getting ourselves on the way to Mars and testing out new exploration technologies that are going to help us get humanity to Mars. And so whatever my part is, whether it's working in mission control, talking to the astronauts that are up there, or being on one of those crews myself, I look forward to seeing what NASA does in the Artemis program.
Kate, how much time do you get to reconnect with home? Connection is such an important thing for us humans. How often do you get to connect with home?
We do get one video call a week to talk to our family and our friends, and then we get a few events. So I just did something yesterday evening with Stanford Medical School, and that was a lot of fun to talk to undergraduates, medical students. Postdocs submitted their questions, and we got to answer them. So it's wonderful to talk to friends and family, but it's also really neat to get to connect with places that we've been with earlier in our lives, and get to. I just love talking to students. That's really one of the joys up here.
Well, then this is a perfect segue. Araxia, you've got some questions submitted to us from some local students.
Some smart local students. That's right. All right, Victor and Kate, here we go. Lightning round. Let's start with a question from Jamie Esquivel, who is in the 5th grade at Sally Ride Elementary School. He wants to know, how has learning about the Milky Way galaxy helped us here on Earth?
Great question, Jamie. You know, that's a big question. Learning about the Milky Way has pushed us to advance technology in a way that has benefited us by things like the global positioning system, GPS, that many of us take for granted. Being able to pull out your cell phone or smart device and see where you are on the planet. Solar arrays that, you know, take the sun's energy and turn it into electrical power. Battery technology. So the things that it takes to do the exploration of our galaxy and our home planet, our neighbors in the night sky, has pushed technology that enable our society, things that we just depend on day in and day out.
Okay, you guys have amazing answers, but we got to keep them tight because I want to get through some of these questions and answers. Aaliyah Henson Price, a 7th grader at Fleming Middle School Science and Technology Magnet, wants to know, what do you think of the newly discovered heated planet?
Aaliyah, that is a great question. I think everything that's going on right now with looking at past our universe and astrobiology and thinking about other habitable worlds is fascinating. One of the things that I'm most interested in as we find these places is, could there be life there? Could there be chemical signatures? So it just means that we're living in an age where wonderful and amazing discoveries are happening.
All right, here is a twofold. Maya Henry, a 9th grader at the Girls Academic Leadership Academy, asks, do you believe that further exploring space in search of another planet for humans to live on once Earth is beyond salvaging is ethical? And how has working at the International Space Station impacted your opinion?
Well, that is a really deep question. I think it is, as long as we aren't using that as an excuse to give up on our beautiful planet home, Earth. Like the previous question, there are worlds out there that we find that are in what we call the habitable zone, but we have yet to find life. So it means that Earth is special, and we have to continue to treat it as special. And that my belief that Earth is special has only grown stronger being up here and seeing it the way it truly is, without lines, borders, and words on a map.
All right, Kate, let me ask you one last question. Michaela, back with you. A final word for budding astronauts and young stargazers that are watching, kiddos that look just like the two of you, all the kids around the globe. What can they be doing now to start working towards getting to where you are?
They can certainly study science and math, and everybody says that, but my advice is to be incredibly persistent about it, to find what's joyful in science and math, and to make it not a hard and a challenging thing. It can be hard and challenging, but find what aspect it is about science, technology, math, aerospace you love and you want to do, and that will get you through the hard stuff. It'll get you through the problem sets and the difficult classes, and it'll be something that you want to wake up every single day and do your career.
This has been such a joy for all of us. You continue to do all the things that you do representing the state of California. Thank you so much for making time for us. Pomona proud, Napa proud. There are kids and families watching at this hour. Victor Glover, Katie Rubins doing incredible work at the International Space Station. Our big thanks to NASA for making this happen. Say one last wave goodbye to your families. Give them some love from the International Space Station. Go ahead as we say goodbye.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the Good Day LA portion of the event. Please stand by for a voice check from WBZ-TV.
Expensive missions, and I don't think there's a lot of people that would say, I wish we didn't do that. It changed not only what we know, but how we think about ourselves. And for me, that's ultimately what research is about.
But this research will require patience. To answer the question of
stand by for mic check.
Mars, these samples first have to get back to Earth. That will take 2 more expensive missions and at least a decade.
Congratulations, but believe it or not, we have a job to do now.
Carter Evans, Pasadena, California.
And we are just a few seconds away from joining Dr. Kate Rubins and also, actually, Station. This is Jacob Wyckoff from WBZ-TV. How do you hear me?
To go to the station mic.
Hello, we hear you loud and clear. This is the International Space Station. Welcome aboard.
There we go. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So I mentioned that you guys are orbiting the Earth at about 17,000 miles per hour. So you're going a little fast here. How are you this morning?
Doing great. We're actually on London time, so we've been up and at it for a while today, and we've gotten a lot of experiments and station maintenance done already. It's been an awesome day in space.
Well, that is awesome. I would say good morning to you, but you mentioned that you're on London time. You see 16 sunrises every day. What has been the hardest thing adjusting to in space beyond, the lack of gravity?
Well, I have a family back home, and I'd say being without them, waking up and going to bed every night without being able to see them physically has been the biggest challenge. But, being up here is a sacrifice for everyone, and that's been the biggest sacrifice for me.
Now, you guys have an incredibly unique perspective. Only about 563 people have ever been in space, and even fewer aboard the International Space Station. What's it like to see home, Dr. Glover, or Commander Glover? You mentioned you see home and you miss your family. What's it like to see home out that window, and does that view ever get old?
Okay, first, the view does not ever get old. It is spectacular. I love to be there in the twilight when the sun is coming up or when it's going down. It is just breathtaking and spectacular. But even being we're over the ocean a lot, the open ocean. And as a Navy guy, I really connect with the ocean. But the blue ocean, the beautiful colors of the lands, the plains, the desert, it is just striking to see it as it is, and not on a map or seeing a rendition, but with your own eyes at the appropriate scale. It is truly a life-changing view.
That really does look incredible there. We have some pictures up on the screen of your guys' view of Earth. Now, the subject of diversity in space and technology is a growing topic. For example, girls are rightfully seeing themselves in lots of future STEM professions. Both of you are big role models to so many. What advice do you have for them as they explore their future?
My advice to young women that are interested in science and technology is to think about what they're interested in, figure out what grabs them, what do they like to do every day, and hold on to that. There's a lot of people out there that are going to say, hey, this is too hard, you shouldn't be doing this, maybe give you the feeling, not overtly, but give you the feeling subtly that you don't belong here. I've mostly just ignored that. I put my blinders on. I do what I love to do. I have always had jobs that I think are amazing and incredible, and I'm passionate about that. And so, put your blinders on, put your head down, and do what's fun, and do what drives you and what you're passionate about. If you're passionate about something, that's going to take you really far. It's gonna lead you to places you wouldn't even think, like the space station.
I think you can look at the news, read the paper, and see that the world needs the best of all of us right now. So I don't care how old you are or what you look like. I say these three things because I try to live them myself, and I think it applies to all people. We need to be resilient, gritty. You need to, like Kate said, put your head down and keep your feet moving, not stop in the face of challenges. And the greatest challenges come from within. So don't stop. We need to be lifelong learners, learning inside the classroom and outside the classroom. And we also need to work on being good teammates or good members of the community, working together so that we can solve those great challenges that are facing all people.
Advice there. Now, the Mars 2020 mission, Perseverance, landed exactly 1 month ago to obviously incredible fanfare. What was the reaction like aboard the International Space Station? Did you guys watch it like, you know, a Super Bowl party or something?
That's exactly what we did. We had the NASA channel streamed live up here. We were in Node 1 where we eat dinner. We're all gathered around the television set. We were watching people at JPL. Our hearts were in our throats, I think, like everybody else watching it live. It was absolutely incredible. And then a few days later, one of our crewmates pulled up video. If you guys haven't seen the video of the landing, it's I mean, you theoretically know that we're landing something on Mars, but it's different to see it. It was breathtaking. It was absolutely amazing.
From Mars to the Moon, there are a lot of future missions planned, like the follow-up to the Apollo mission, the Artemis mission. That's the return of manned missions to the Moon. I know both of you are in the Artemis pool of potential astronauts. Are you excited for those possibilities, and what would that bring to the future of space travel?
You know, NASA wants to go back to the moon, but to stay, and that's very important so that we have a sustainable presence in lunar orbit. But then it also helps us lay the path to getting onto Mars and becoming a two-planet species. I think the goals that we have in the Artemis program are amazing. Listen, when humanity accomplishes something amazing, what do we call it? One term is a moonshot, and I think it's our generation's turn to see that in person, to watch our generation accomplish something that great. This is a great accomplishment, the space station. We need to come up with a new term. But to see humanity go back to the moon is something that I think, again, could galvanize all people as we do something great for all of humanity.
Now, both of you are veterans in doing spacewalks or EVAs. Commander, I know you did one on Saturday morning, and Dr. Rubins, I know you've done one. I think the last one you did was on March 5th. What is it like to leave the station and kind of leave the safety of the station, but also what are some of the risks involved?
Spacewalks are quite a thing. It takes the entire crew to get ready for them, so it's not just the people in the spacesuits, it's those that are putting them in the suits, and we actually are in the suits for about 4 or 5 hours before we even depress and go out to vacuum. The suits are amazing. They're their own spacecraft, so they provide thermal cooling for the astronaut. They provide protection from temperatures from minus 200 to plus 200. Obviously, they have to provide micrometeor debris and their own source of oxygen. They're really incredible, capable vehicles. And then you also have a human inside them moving. So there's a lot of things to keep track of. We really pay attention to every single detail when we put people in the suits, when we go to vacuum, and then we bring them back inside. It is truly incredible to see after a spacewalk. We're able to look out the windows, and I can both look out at P6 to all the things that we installed, and I look out there every now and then, and I'm really glad I took some extra time with some of the MLI blankets, and I made them look nice and pretty, because once you put it out there in vacuum of space, it's not moving. So it's an incredible experience, but it's also something that we approach very rigorously.
Dr. Rubins, I know that you arrived in mid-October of last year, just as a busy hurricane season was slowing down a little bit. Have you seen any memorable storms that kind of stick out in your mind?
Yeah, we do. We always watch when we're going over Houston. We watch the Gulf Coast and we watch Florida. We haven't seen anything that's particularly poignant and out of the norm over the U.S., but it is really interesting on the space station to watch weather patterns across the globe. So we do watch for things like typhoons. And one of the things that's so striking to me is to see how a weather pattern will develop on one side of the world, and then you can watch it a few days later as it comes across the globe. Because we're going around the Earth so frequently, you kind of notice when there's a really big storm somewhere, or even you can see the jet stream. You can see as these clouds are forming. That's the most spectacular and notable thing. We see storms up here all the time, but to watch them move across the planet is, I think it's a different scale.
And before I leave you guys, I know it's important to exercise 2 hours a day. What is your favorite zero gravity move?
And deadlifts are awesome on Earth. They're also awesome in zero gravity. We have an amazing machine up here. One of my favorite machines up here is our advanced resistive exercise device. It allows us to do the moves you do with, when you're weightlifting, even though we can't use weights. It uses a vacuum cylinder to create the resistance, and deadlifts are awesome in microgravity. You can really focus on form.
I guess I'm not going to get a flip out of you guys, but I appreciate your time. Dr. Kate Rubins, Commander Victor Glover, thank you so much for your time. Be safe, and Godspeed to you guys. Now, there they go. There they go. I love it. Well, the space station will be passing over our heads this evening. Unfortunately, it does look like there will be some clouds that are going to be blocking our view. Next time,
you're clear. Thank you.
Guys, if you can still hear me.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event.
Thank you to all participants from Good Day LA and WBZ-TV station. We are now resuming operational audio communications.